Good evening, children. Let's discuss the language activities and second unit. Listen carefully. Children, let's move on to language activities. Activity 1. Read the following sentences and place them along appropriate headings in the box. We have to classify the given sentences as statements and questions. Can you identify that, children? Which are the statements here? Come on. The training had not gone very bad. The shots were too dark. Guppy is banished by the king. Bharat Circus has 2 tigers with them. Mr. Thorat was the ringmaster of the circus. Baga has also been banished. These are the statements. Now, which are the questions here? Had they finished shooting? Do you think it is easy to set the animal free in the bamboo grove? Could a tiger from Bharat Circus do this job? Were all our plans going to go down the drain? These are the questions. Now analyze the statements that you have listed in the activity. Identify the verbs in them and put them in the appropriate columns according to their function as main verb or helping verb. What is main verb, children? Main verb means which are action words. Main verb means which are action words. Then what is auxiliary or helping verb? Helping verbs or auxiliary verbs add grammatical sense to the sentence and it expresses tenses, then voice emphasizes, then aspects, everything. Okay. So auxiliary verbs, you are familiar with all these auxiliary verbs. Which are they, children? Auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs can be classified as primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Auxiliary verbs come under primary auxiliaries are form of be, form of do and form of have. That is am, are, was, were, have, has, had, do, does, did, will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, need, dare, used to, ought to. These are the auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Now let's classify them as main verb and auxiliary verb. Which are the main verbs? See, main verbs means action words. Finished, then banished, then gone, then what? Going. Okay, these are the main verbs, that is action words. Then which are the auxiliary verbs here? Had, then were, then do, is, could, has, was. Okay, all these are the auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Children, now consider the questions you have listed in section A. Had they finished the shooting? How will you answer this question, children? You can answer like, yes, they had finished the shooting. No, they hadn't finished the shooting. These type of questions are called yes or no questions. These type of questions are called yes or no type questions. Okay, yes or no questions. Here the answer will be either yes or no. Now read the following sentences. They are going to Madras. The sentence has been changed to question, are they going to Madras? Nandu was working all night. Was Nandu working all night? Children, how do these questions begin? These questions begin with the auxiliary verbs are and was. So what change is made in the word order of the statements to frame the questions? What change is made in the word order of the statements to frame the questions? The auxiliary verbs in the statement come first to frame the questions. Okay, to frame the questions, put auxiliary verbs in the sentence at first. Okay, now try to frame questions for the following statements. The answer is no. They are planning something different this time. So how can we change the sentence or how can we make a question for this answer? Here the auxiliary verb is are. So we can put that auxiliary verb at first. Are they planning the same thing this time? So the answer would be no, they are planning something different this time. Children, like this, the rest of the questions you have to do. Okay, using pencil in textbook itself, you have to do the rest of the questions. Now, children, consider the following sentence. He likes oranges. Does he like oranges? They went to the nearby school. Did they go to the nearby school? I drink tea. Do you drink tea? So just before this, we have constructed sentences by putting auxiliary verbs in the statements at first. But here, he likes oranges. Is there any auxiliary verb? No. In these sentences, auxiliary verb is hidden. In that particular cases, we use dummy auxiliaries according to the tense of the verb. That means if there is no auxiliary verb, take the form of do, does, did. And children, if the sentence is in present tense, take do or does, and if the sentence is in past tense, take did. And how can we understand whether the sentence is in present tense or past tense? By looking at the verb. If the verb is in first form, we can understand that, we can know that it is present tense. If the verb is in past tense, V2 form, it is clear that it is the sentence is in past tense. And children, in present tense, if the subject is singular, we use does, and if the subject is plural, we use do. One easy way to identify or to know which one should be used. One easy way is, if along with the verb there is yes or es, no confusion, use does. Okay. If s or es with the verb, use does. If the verb is in just first form, use do. Okay. And if the verb is in past tense, use did. Look at that. He likes oranges. So here likes. Along with the like, there is yes. So no confusion, use does. Okay. Does he like oranges? If we use does, then again you don't want to add s along with the like. So does he like oranges? Then they went to the nearby school. Here went is the past tense of go. So past tense means use did. Did they go to the nearby school? If we use did, then we don't want to change the tense of the verb again. So V1 form, go. Then I drink tea. Here drink is in V1 form. Then use do. Do you drink tea? Okay. Now construct questions for the following sentences. First one. Yes, they come here frequently. Here they come. They plus V1. So we can use do they come here frequently? The next one. Yes, I met him yesterday. Here met is in past form. Past tense of meet. So past tense means we can use did. So did you meet him yesterday? Yes, I met him yesterday. Okay, did you meet him yesterday? Is it clear for you, children? Then rest of the work you have to do. Okay.